to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we continue our sci-fi month with Pacific Rim. It was released on July 12th, 2013. It was written for the screen by Travis Beacham and Guillermo del Toro, directed by Guillermo del Toro. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And this is a fun one. I'm a big fan of Pacific Rim. I believe this was a first viewing for you. How you feeling about it coming off it?
Yeah. Whoa. I kind of gotten into the monster kind of movie a little late.
Yeah,
like
kaijus.
Yeah. And but like, you know, recently with the Godzilla and all the Kong movies, I got kind of caught up on those last year. And watched all of those. But this has a whole, you know, this is a little bit different of a, I don't know, a little bit different of a fight to it. The just mecha, yeah, I don't know, giant robots.
Bringing the fight to them, literally. Yeah, it's great, man.
So yeah, I'm down with that. I think and then also the dynamic of it takes two pilots, you know, and not just
and like
just
complete
one
trust, give yourself over. Yeah.
So that is pretty cool. I think they could have utilized that a little bit more and better, honestly. But I don't know, cool. I don't know, just kind of dynamic regardless. And then just I mean, like it's visually to see. I wish I could have seen this in the theater, like on the big screen, because the detail is just like insane. I mean, obviously it's not, you know, I don't know how much of it's a set, but I feel like not a whole lot of this can be a set. I don't know, and it's just a whole bunch is done on the computer. But man, is this like just done? It's a movie that's made on the computer that I want to watch. You know, I'm not ever like, oh, this is too much, you know, fake for me.
Too VFX heavy or anything. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. Is like I've never minded VFX heavy as long as it's done well. You know, like and this is unquestionably a great example of a strong VFX movie. You know, like it's coming off a few years after Avatar. You know, the Transformer movies have been around for a while. Like you said, we've had the kaiju monster movies like for ages. But this does precede the modern Godzilla movies, you know, like when it comes to you know, Warner Brothers Godzilla movies and the Shin Godzilla and all that stuff. This does come right before that, a few years after King Kong, obviously after Jurassic Park. So it does find itself kind of in this perfect transitionary period where it feels like it still adheres to some of the design principles and VFX principles of older movies and actually bridges a gap where more movies get made like this and nowhere near as well, which is really interesting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, everything is looking good. Like there's never a time where I'm like, ooh, this isn't fitting the world. Like there was never a time where I'm like, that's kind of taking me out. It was like I mean, yeah, no, I can't, like, I'm trying to think if, like, maybe sometimes where obviously the actor is in frame and they have to be melded with the environment. Even that,
they do a great job, man. Like, there's some fucking awesome shots in this movie, you know. I think that there's a lot to really, really enjoy, and I think that there's a lot of heart to it, too, you know. I do think that while the spectacle of it, I think, ultimately takes precedent, I think that they want the spectacle to be the thing you come away from, like what you take with this movie, you know, like you go, wow, that was awesome. That was huge. That was big. That was fucking epic. And I think that it succeeds on that front. But I think that what it does manage to do on the human side, while I do think that it could have benefited from a little bit more, like you were saying, it actually does a really, really great job too, though. Especially on a rewatch, because this was my second viewing of it. I watched it for the first time last year, and knowing, and you know, that obviously means that it could have done better. If I feel like I could have gotten more fulfillment out of it the first time, that'd be great. But I got a lot of emotional fulfillment the second time around, just knowing everything I'm supposed to know, knowing Idris Elba's character raised that girl and all that stuff from the jump, makes every choice he make a lot more tangible. You know, Charlie Hunnam, Raleigh, his relationship to her, kind of watching that grow is really, really interesting.
Yeah, I had the very wrong read on why she like the restriction of holding her back. I thought maybe like, yeah, prize pupil, and like, no, I don't want to risk whatever. But I thought it was just like that a guy and a girl, like I thought it was like sexism, like reasons. Like, it was more of just like they cannot drift. Is that the word? Like that they is that whenever they connect? Yeah, like I thought it was more of that it's like, no, not possible. But then in the other there's other groups, or
like
maybe
it's
just one, the Russians. Yeah, I guess maybe that's the only group that's a guy and a girl. But that was the read I had, at least on it first, like very early on. And then I'm like, oh no, he actually, like, he cares for her. It's not like, not just because of that. And but that would be nice to know, I guess, like rewatching and knowing that from the jump. And because I don't want to say that like there wasn't like the human, or like that they could have done more with certain things, and like could sound a little negative, but I think it was just like this, they weren't really concerned with diving too deep into like certain characters. It was just kind of the bigger strokes that was more important here, like the bigger fight that was going on. Like it has the revolutionary spirit there of like everyone working together, I don't know, like
rising up against this power that seems insurmountable and all that stuff.
And good, perfect. Just I mean, they don't really fully explain the like how these monsters, like the intelligence of them, or like, but it seems like they like they're slowly evolving, and like they're, I don't know, like this is like how they say it is, that was just wave one here, now here comes the true extinction event. And I thought at first that Idris Elba was gonna like have both, and he was gonna dominate my performance and character, but I think I gotta give Charlie Day a nod for the character. Like his character was just so fucking good. Like he just like, he brought a whole just different vibe to the movie completely, and then actually like ended up being pretty crucial, like at the end. I don't know,
very
like,
important.
And I thought he was just going to be like complete comedic relief the whole time, and just be Charlie Day. I don't know, I think just the guy he plays is just hilarious, and I can't look at that guy I don't know, Always Sunny in Philadelphia is just ingrained. I don't know.
Oh, dude, it's incredible. I love me some Charlie Day. I have ever since Horrible Bosses, when I watched that when I was younger, and just ever since I've just been taken with Charlie Day. And it's so funny. I've talked about this before, I think specifically with our Challengers podcast. Whenever we talked about it, I told you that I am in any given room, I am more attracted to the men in that room than Emily is. Like there is something about Charlie Day that really lights her. Fire. She loves Charlie Day. I don't know what it is about Charlie Day, but she finds him so fucking attractive, and I think that's so funny because he's a handsome guy. Don't get me wrong, and he's really funny and he's sweet and all that good stuff. But like, it's so funny that this is the guy that, like, above all other dudes, all other famous dudes, I could tell you, I know she likes Charlie Day, which is so funny. I'm right there with her. I think he's fucking hysterical, and he does a fantastic job in this movie, man, and kind of does a fantastic job on whatever he's going to do. He's a really talented dude. You ever seen that video of him singing "Creep" by Radiohead?
No, I haven't.
Dude can sing too. Yeah, dude can go. It's pretty impressive. But I'm a big Charlie Day fan, so I'm glad you're giving him some props, because I was not going to. Even though he is unquestionably an excellent part of the movie, man.
I still feel like Idris Elba's character is probably more fleshed out, and I do like him probably more. But just to spread the love, and I feel like he does come in like a really close second place, actually. Like I wasn't like, you be like, oh, I need more of him on screen necessarily, but it's like every time he did pop back up, I'm like, oh yes, like it, like
it's a fun change of pace,
and
this like
story.
The drift between the kaijus and the humans, and like all that's a really fun, interesting concept, and that's what I love about this movie, is that it feels like a comic book or manga directly adapted onto a screen. Like, not like, oh, well, we're going to kind of play with it so it feels more fitting for a movie. No, like the dialogue, the way the characters handle themselves, the kaijus, the robots, it straight up feels like they took what would occur on a page and put it on a screen, you know? And I think that that's what I love about it. The performances don't feel strictly, I don't want to say natural, because they do feel natural, but they do feel like they are highly, like, almost cartoonish, you know, like they almost feel like they are elevating the versions of themselves that they are playing. And the reason my performance is going to Rinko Kikuchi for Mako Mori. I think that she does an incredible job at grounding that style of acting that everybody's doing. And because I think Charlie Hunnam has a tough time with it. I do not love his performance. I think he's solid, but not great. Not bad, but just kind of, he's fine. You know, I think he has a tough time delivering some of those lines that you would see written on a comic book page, which is funny. Like, whenever I realized that's how I feel like the screenplay was written, it changed the way I looked at the movie, you know, like, and Charlie Hunnam has a tougher time delivering those lines. But Mako Mori, she gives them the weight that they can and should have, you know. I think, and Idris Elba, obviously, he almost feels like he's a part of a wholly different movie, which makes him definitely the most interesting character, you know. Like, when it comes to Charlie Day's character, he brings the most to the table in terms of pushing the story forward and making it fun and interesting. But when it comes to our two leads, I would argue, sorry if you guys can hear my dog barking upstairs. She is really letting whoever is walking past our house have it. But Raleigh and Mako, as much as I love their connection, I love their relationship, I love the, I wish we'd gotten just a little bit more to distinguish them as people. You know, like, they feel like they're defined by their tragedy. They're defined by their happenstance, and that's fine. That happens. There's just so much movie here. It doesn't feel like we have a chance to really dive into them. And I feel like they also don't commit fully to the romance that I was hoping was budding between them. Which sucks too, you know, like, because there's those elements, but they keep it just vague enough so it could be like the drift is deeper than romance. Like, I don't know, man. Like, but he's like, if something feels romantic, make it romantic, you know. Like, if it feels romantic, just make it romantic, you know. Like, that's how I feel about it. But I like that they don't have to define the drift as any one thing, you know. Like, drift compatibility can be between a father and son. It can be between two people who have never really met. They just happen to be compatible, you know. Like, that's a great idea. I love that there's not like well, you have to have like the same brain waves or the same blood type or some scientific component. It is really, really just, are you willing to open yourself up to this person? And I think that's cool.
And I think that it goes to show Newton, you know, I don't think anyone can drift with a secondary brain, you know, not even the full brain, just a secondary brain. Of a kaiju, you know, but he is the one who definitely would, you know, he's crazy enough. And then I guess you got Hannibal Chow, you know, I guess over the, you know,
Hannibal fucking Chow, dude. Ron Perlman. If I hadn't given it to Rinko Kikuchi, I would have given it to Ron Perlman.
Oh my god,
the way that this is the perfect character to justify everything I was just talking about. You know, like when we talked about Nope, we were like, there's nothing really that feels like, what else can you go that looks like a live action anime? This, you know, like this is that is the vibe. This guy's like Hannibal Chow, named after my favorite historical figure and my favorite restaurant, you know, or like my favorite dish at this restaurant. Like, that's dope. I love that character. And he does a great job playing
knife, the shoes, the freaking, you know, and yeah, even at like the end, he's like, yeah, I wasn't worried one bit, for sure. You know, I knew after just a minute it would.
I knew it. His lungs weren't fully developed.
Yeah, and then
Did you see the post-credit scene?
Yeah, we're in a Marvel movie here. Yeah, I don't know. I was just reviewing on Letterboxd, as the credits were rolling, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like, hold on. I'm like, is there a sequel? I guess I never even looked into it.
Yes, there is a sequel, but
okay.
it's universally panned as nowhere near as good. It is led by John Boyega, which does make it worth a viewing for me.
Is it still is it different direct the
it
same
is. It's a completely different creative team.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it's like, well,
Steven
feel like they did
S.
the story they
DeKnight.
wanted to.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh, he did Daredevil,
That's Stephen
the TV?
DeKnight. Yeah. I was
What?
gonna say he's
What? Whoa. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I do kind of like movies that are generically hated. I don't know. Maybe it is just actually worse or not quite up to the.
Oh, it's also
the
I think
standard,
it's a
but-
prequel because it feels like the battle ends here.
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's true. The portal.
It all
Yeah.
closes. I think it's called like something Uprising.
Yeah, just Pacific Rim Uprising. Yeah.
Oh, it's just Uprising. Okay, cool.
Let's
But yeah,
see.
I know John Boyega leads it, so I'm like, yeah, I could get down with that for sure.
Jake Pentecost, the son of Stacker Pentecost, reunites with McElmurray to lead a newer generation of Jaeger pilots. Wait,
Why?
a 15-year-old hacker Amara against a new kaiju threat. I guess just there's a new.
So
the
they
portal done
went ahead and
opened up
sold it
again.
out for
Yeah, I don't
Pacific.
know.
Okay, for Pacific Rim 2, they were like, well, let's
Damn.
just. What if the portal opens again? Huh?
I
What
see.
then?
So maybe that's the hate, is that it's like, it renders the first movie useless or something like that.
Amara's
then it's
Kaylee
just
Spaney
hated, but-
though.
Man, hold on
Man,
a second.
a Kaylee Spaney movie in 2018. Hold the phone.
That's
I'm gonna, I'm Charlie Day's in it. Bern Gorman's still in it.
I don't know, Scott Eastwood?
Rinko
he's got the
Kikuchi?
name Eastwood. I don't know. That's quite. I don't know if he comes from that Eastwood.
I think he does.
But he's Carl in Texas Chainsaw. He's in the Suicide Squad. Wow, the 2016 Suicide Squad. Lieutenant GQ Edwards in there. I don't remember.
Well, of course, the iconic Lieutenant GQ Edwards.
Yeah, no. But interesting.
but
anyways, this I don't know.
it's also got Ivana Sakno, who played Shin Hati in Ahsoka. I'm gonna have to watch Pacific Rim Uprising. You know what? Like, I'm willing to tough it out. Because I like this enough. I like the world they build. I love John Boyega. And smaller role. But the Charlie Day's partner in crime and frenemy in this, Bern Gorman. Do you recognize him?
Yeah. What is he from?
He's the best knifeman in all of Flea Bottom. He gets a sword shoved through his mouth by Jon Snow.
What?
Yeah.
That is
he
where
plays
he's
a much
from?
shittier fuck in Game of Thrones than he does
Oh my god,
here.
that guy sucks. Yeah, that dude absolutely blows. Isn't he the dude that replaces Caster, whatever
Yeah,
the dude
yeah.
fuck is out there? Oh my god. Yeah, that dude.
He's drinking out of
Wow.
Gior Mormont's skull and shit.
Holy shit. Oh my god, he's also in The Dark Knight Rises. He's he's just part of okay. Wow, okay. But that's awesome. Definitely Game of Thrones was where I was thinking.
Yeah,
or
for
maybe
sure.
thinking
I was
of
like,
him.
yeah,
Wow,
and
that's
it's
him?
what makes his performance pretty great, like
Whoa.
the way he's playing it all up. Let's do this shit. Let us proceed with doing this. His whole thing is ridiculous, and I love it. But
I calculated 3 kaijus to come through.
Yeah.
You see,
it can't be correct. It's wonderful, and that's why I love how heightened it is. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just so much fun, dude. We had AI, artificial intelligence, last week, which is deeply fulfilling. A lot of philosophical quandary. A lot of, it'll make you think a little hard. And that's probably my favorite kind of sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of it, when you can just fucking big monster fight big robot, let's fucking roll. I'm in,
nice.
dude. I'm gonna have fun. And like I said, as much as I wish they might have done a little bit more with the human stuff, I still think they do plenty. Because my favorite character is Idris Elba's. just far and away the most interesting, especially on a rewatch, knowing where all of his motivations are coming from, knowing that his time is limited, his days are numbered, he's radiated out the ass, and that speech he gives, bro. Oh my God, does he go in? He definitely delivers my favorite line of the movie also, whenever he says, today we are canceling the apocalypse. That's so fucking dope, dude.
Yep,
that is so dope.
Canceling. That's correct. That's I don't know. That is just a crazy word to use, but I don't know, it did hype everyone up. Everyone was behind that one. No, he got my performance. I do love every time he pops up in a movie. And yeah, it was
so good, man.
Yeah, just every time he was on screen, I was never worried. It was like, okay, like this
one
is
of the most bizarre filmographies by any working actor. Idris Elba. Like, this dude has done as much brilliant, fantastic stuff as he's done complete and utter fucking shitters. Like, the dichotomy in his filmography is astounding. Like, he was in The Wire, and he was in Thor: The Dark World, and he was in this, and he was in some movie with Matthew McConaughey called like The Dark Tower or some shit. Like, there's he was in Prometheus. Fucking love Prometheus. Like, there's just all sorts of stuff he's done where it's just like, I'm pretty sure he was in Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance.
Eesh, bad look. Yeah, that's
worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Not a good look.
I say that with certainty. But yeah, no, like, that's why, like, I love that he's willing to kind of do whatever, and he's always good in whatever he's doing. Like, he's never like,
he's not afraid to take a check.
No, not at all, and he's willing to do what he has to do for that check. Like, he puts it on the line, and I'll give it to him. There's he's a different kind of same in every role kind of guy. Like, there. I don't know what it is about him, but he has the same presence. He might not be playing precisely the same character, but just the way he carries himself never really varies. He's always that strong, dependable dude,
It's always wise, it seems. Always a little more, always more strong. You're just in every man, but heightened, he can just be any guy, but he's always above him. He's never average though. But he is kind of this everyman kind of guy, but he always has something. Yeah, he definitely
he's relatable. He's relatable, but he's better than you. That's kind of how Idris Elba carries himself. Like, he's like, oh man, I feel like I could get down with you, but I'm also going to be intimidated the whole time because for some reason I feel like you're smarter and better than me. I don't know how to quantify that.
They were the military or government or whatever before, and he was like taking orders, whatever. But then when they were the resistance,
yeah, they were like, oh, they're shutting us down. We've got only the resources we have. Yep. We got to make the best of it. Like, that's hard. I love that.
And people still are taking orders from him, though. It's like, it is the resistance, and they don't have to anymore. But people are like, well, who else is it gonna be? It's like, who else are we gonna listen to? And even like, is it Riley or Ray? I don't know this. Just Riley.
I'm calling him Raleigh because Raleigh. That's the capital of North Carolina, and it's spelled that way. Him and his brother have some goofy ass names. Man,
and did they look alike too? Were they supposed to be just twins? Was it like the same actor? Was that actually a
no? That was two different guys. Yeah, that was Raleigh and Yancey. Diego Klatenhoff. Wow, I actually knew him. I actually knew him from The Blacklist. You ever watch that show?
My parents did. I don't know. That's how I knew James Spader, or just the voice before Ultron.
He was like one of the main detectives in that show for a really long time, or main FBI agents. But that's how I knew him prior to Pacific Rim.
Not gonna lie, glad he died, because I would not have been able to tell the difference between these two if they stayed in the movie and kind of were in there. But I did actually like the opening. The opening was like a perfect way to kind of build the world and just be like, well, it kind of sucks what happened, but it was like, I don't know, it was like a cool suit up moment, like we're being deployed, and it's like, all right, well, this exposition kind of heavy. They do lay things out pretty like, well, this is how it's going to be. This is what we're doing, even though we've done it a couple times probably before and whatever. But I don't know. I did really like the, just, I wonder how long it was. Probably like 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe not even that long. But then whenever like it just cut to the title card, I was just like, okay. I'm like, okay, like this is what I'm getting into. You know?
Whenever
like,
he walks on the beach and collapses there and stuff, and he gets out, like, yeah, that shit's hard. That shit's hard, man. That's like generally that's how the movie carries. It's just dope. I think that's and it knows it is too, which is also super cool. I think that the world building is super exciting. I think that the future they exist in 2020, funny enough, is outstanding. It's always bizarre watching a movie set in the future that is now the past, and this wasn't even set that far in the future when it was made. It was made in 2013. And was like, there's been 7 years of kaiju war. This is what 2020 looks like. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Is this 2013? Is this the year we did the first like hadron collider experiment?
It might have
actually thought we were opening up a portal. I wonder when that was. But I don't know. That is kind of like. If they were like, this is the end of the world is coming. I guess it was like 2008. I guess were things, but 2013 or 2015. I don't know why it sounds like a familiar year for something like that to happen. In that vein, but yeah, this it is an interesting threat, you know, of just there's a portal in the bottom of the ocean or whatever. And or was that fully known from the start, or was it just there's monsters attacking and we don't know really why?
Yeah, they didn't know why until it became a recurring thing, and they were like, "Well, we got to figure this shit out, man.
This is just terrible." Like it even got everyone to come together. They're like, "Fuck." We're like, "All right, we gotta do something, guys." And then it was.
Can you believe this wasn't nominated for best VFX?
What? What else in 2013? I guess
they got Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Good stuff. The winner was Gravity, the Sandra Bullock movie where she's trapped in space. Good stuff. Star Trek Into Darkness. The Hobbit, one of the Hobbit movies. And The Lone Ranger, which I got to question that one. I can't imagine that was that much better than this.
These VFX were nuts.
Unbelievable.
These had computers on fire. It felt like this would be, oh my God, to render these shots. It feel like, and just the level of like, I loved the literal suits that they like got in, like the real physical suits that they built for them. But then just, it was like Transformers, but honestly on steroids with how many parts like made up. I don't know. It felt like in Transformers, it is kind of crazy, and there is like a lot of detail in there. But this was like, I don't know. The camera placement, I think, is better here than Transformers. Like the scale of these robots looks so much better than in Transformers. It's always like back and forth. Like sometimes Optimus Prime looks absolutely massive, and then like he's in the backyard of Sam's house, and then it's like whatever.
Right. But, the scaling is a little off. It's pretty consistent here. I feel like I'm always aware of how big they are. But I'm looking through some of the trivia. I know Guillermo del Toro is really big on miniatures and design work, you know, so like I was curious if there was some of that because you know he did the puppets for Pinocchio and he helped with those and he designed them and stuff. But whenever Gypsy, the big main robot, his hand goes through an office building. Yeah,
and the Newton's cradle little thing.
The entire office that you watch his hand go through and then he pulls it off is real. It's a miniature office. And they used a green ram to, they just stabbed through it and pulled it out, and they replaced the green with the hand in VFX. So that's fucking sick.
Oh my God, that was the first shot I took down. I just thought it was hilarious for one to have like that moment of just the Newton's cradle at the end, like just to think of that in all of this chaos that's going on, to be like, yep, we're gonna do this for the movie. But now I love it even more that it's like actually. They paid that much attention to it. Like he's like, nah, we're building a miniature for this shot. Like fuck it. Like we're doing like, yes, this is important. It is 5 seconds of the movie. But no, that's awesome.
I like looking into the trivia because it helps affirm my suspicions. Travis Beacham also wrote the graphic novel Pacific Rim Tales from Year Zero, which is set 12 years before the film's events and came out alongside it. So the guy definitely wrote it in that vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is sick, man. I'm just I'm a sucker for this sort of thing. I think that, and this is one of the, like, when it comes to the modern Godzilla, King Kong, all those sorts of movies, you know, like, I haven't watched Skull Island in a while. I remember thinking it was really good. I remember liking it a lot. I mean, obviously Godzilla -1 is a different animal. But this is top 2 with Godzilla -1 as far as contemporary kaiju movies for me. It doesn't have quite the humanity Godzilla -1 possesses, which is why I put it above it. But damn, the scale of it and the just awe is too fucking cool to not adore, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you there with Godzilla -1. That's kind of in a different league, but yeah, with like Kong X Godzilla, you know, even with the pyramids and this anti-gravity shit and a new, you know, all of that's cooking for me. I'm taking Pacific Rim over that any day. And yeah, even the older, the better kind of Kong movies, like Skull Island,
like the 05,
really like, but yeah, that's it kind of different. I don't know. This movie is one that is like, it is kind of for the spectacle. This isn't trying to win the award for, you know, the
best screenplay or anything.
No, this is for VFX, which is crazy that it didn't get nominated for VFX. But like that's what they're going. Yeah, that's what they're going for. And they, like, as far as action sequences and like actually keeping them unique every time, they aren't the same thing. Like, even though they're fighting the literal same monsters basically over and over, or they're all, you know, similar DNA, but I guess they have different traits to them. But like, they always bring out some new, like, like, you always have this like, oh fuck, that was cool moment of the fight. And I feel like one shot that I was thinking of is whenever the sword's revealed in the upper atmosphere, and they just slice as they're just up in the sky.
Yeah, and like the way it like waves out and bends and then like straightens, dude, so sick.
Yeah, that sword and
empty the clip.
Yeah.
And then whenever he's like, I just want to check for a pulse.
Yeah,
no pulse.
Last
Sick.
time they thought one was dead, they I don't know. It didn't end well for them. He lost his brother.
Whenever it gets tossed and it like crashes through a bridge and then through like an electrical plant there, like, dude, I am really blown away at how good it looks and how much it holds up. I think that there's this is one of those movies that lends credence to the argument that maybe VFX reached its kind of pinnacle a little over 15 years ago, whenever everything wasn't supposed to be hyper real, you know, like, but that made it elevated, it heightened it, it made it more impressive. I don't know.
Yeah, it is this weird, like, I know it's fake, but at the same time, it looks just so like, I don't know, it does look photoreal at the same time, but it's not this modern look where they're trying to go for, like, as photoreal as possible. Like, I don't know, like, that's all that matters. We need to build the simulation, basically, in movie form. But, yeah, no, it has its look, and it never strays away from its look. It's always in this world, and yeah, I always love I used to watch those YouTube videos of like how much destruction was caused during this movie, and totaling up the cost. And like, I never watched this one because I don't know, this is my first time watching Pacific Rim, but I gotta think that this has to be up there with like most of all time. This is they are.
It's gotta be. Well, and there are like cities leveled that we obviously never actually watch the kaijus destroy a city. We just hear that they've done it, which is cool. I think that, but yeah, it is wild whenever, because I've been reading a lot more comics again lately, and I've been reading Fantastic Four particularly because the trailer a few months ago got me real excited, or a month ago or whatever, got me real excited, so I've been diving in there. And there's an arc wherever they're being like sued by all sorts of people over damages they've caused.
Yeah.
You know, like they've been fighting this person, and the thing picked up a car and threw it. That car had been paid off. That was their only vehicle. After that, things went downhill for them. You know, like they didn't know they were ruining a life, but they ruined a life. You know, like that's a. So like it's cool to watch something where they are. Like the people love them. Like they show that like the people want the Jaegers out there. They want them protecting them because without them, it's certain doom.
Yeah, what
I
was
think
the
that's
backup
sick.
plan? What was the secret society or the government's being like, no, we're shutting you down. They're obsolete. What was their plan? They didn't have a replacement plan.
The wall.
That oh my god, that was actually I thought that was
That
just
was
something
it.
that they were doing already. I thought that was just kind of like, yeah, every city builds a wall now. It's like, but then no, you're right, because then one just walks right through it and they're like, wait, this is pointless. And I guess like, yeah, that probably would have happened before. Like this probably isn't like they haven't built many walls and this is the first one a kaiju decides to finally go through. But yeah, that was oh man, that's crazy.
You just walked right through the thing. What the fuck are we doing this for? You know, I love the whole crowd side of things whenever people get involved. Yeah, I loved the good news and bad news. Bad news, 2 people died or 3 people died on top of the wall yesterday. Good news, I got 3 job openings top of the wall. Fucking brutal.
Damn. Yeah, that's. I mean, we build just dams, and people just fell in. Like apparently it was common, and they were just like, well, nothing you can do. They're dead, and that's just that's unbelievable. A fact of just. I don't know. I never thought of just construction. Building a building would be just so dangerous. But this I don't know. I wish maybe a little more of like every other person of like it felt like they were just kind of all working on the robots or together, you know. But like what else were they doing? Like what was the mass of people? That's what I wish the big lot of people was kind of involved more somehow. But it felt like it's just the people at the like computers that are like, you know, telling them, you know, oh, on your left or like, you know, whatever. Like those people are obviously right there. But then like everyone else is just kind of like watching or they're just part of the resistance. It feels like, you know,
I feel like they're helping build the fucking Jaegers and fix the Jaegers and stuff,
true.
you know, like, because there's a point whenever they win the battle that's like there's a big fight that feels like the end of the movie about 50 minutes left, and you're like, oh shit, you know, and not because you feel like the movie's long or anything, but because like you feel like that should be it. They just beat that guy, that should be enough. But nope, there's gonna be more. And after the fight, he's like, there's no time to celebrate and all that stuff. He goes like, he immediately tells them like, I want that Jaeger back to working order within like 48 hours or something like that. Like,
yeah, that does.
It got fucking wrecked.
That's
you
true.
know, like that's a lot of people. That's a huge project. You know, so like, I do appreciate that they do emphasize that at least a little bit. How fragile, and they're not fragile, but how much work it takes to maintain them.
Yeah, I wonder if in the real world, if we did start having these crazy gigantic monsters and we truly all were like, all right, this is finally the one thing that will bring us together. We will come together to try to do something. If we would just get down, like if we would eventually get to just giant robots, and that is how we fight them. I wonder.
I was watching it with Emily, and Emily said, "This is the best idea they could come up with to fight the monsters."
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like making a mecha monster. It's like fight fire with fire. I guess.
Well, and you know, I was like, "What are you gonna do? Nuke them? Then irradiate all sorts of shit?" You know, like there's this might be the best way to take the fight to a monster.
Yeah,
they've seemed to be invulnerable to normal weaponry. You know, I imagine they tried, you know, missiles and bullets and shit, and they didn't work. You know, I can't imagine they were like, oh shit, giant monster, let's build giant robots. You know, I'm sure they tried a few things first.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's a tricky situation. I mean, because those fuckers are huge. Like the missiles and stuff, they might do something, but it's just not effect. Like you just need something bigger. That's not a nuke. Yeah, that's just tough. That's like we don't really have
a fine line to walk.
Yeah, we don't have that. But I don't know. It was kind of sick, being like, nah, the gypsy's nuclear, EMP doesn't affect her at all. And it's like, oh, okay,
Sick.
that's actually kind of cool, and
You get a couple sacrifice plays whenever they dive into the actual rift. Like, dude, that's
yeah.
sick.
Oh man, and yeah, when his brother at the opening got taken, like that wasn't something that hit for me at first, but then later on, he just kind of said it like, yeah, I felt his pain, I felt his suffering, his afraid.
We were
like,
still connected when he died.
oh
Like that's
my god. Oh yeah, no, that's insane. But and then yeah, like whenever Mako got stuck, and whatever, like how easily that probably is to just be like, no, I'm in this like it's a whole different kind of
getting
thing.
lost in the memory. It's sick
going on. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested if the sequel kind of dives, into just more if it is just kind of more of the same stuff and cool action, or if they try to play with the dynamics a little more and see what I don't know what can be done. But I don't know this. At least all of the fights like that, I was surprised. I thought that it was going to be kind of repetitive. But I didn't, even though the monsters all kind of look alike, they, they did have different features, and one was like an EMP, and like that was crazy that it just turned into a fucking EMP out of nowhere.
One of them reveals it has wings.
Oh, true. It just started flying. Yeah,
It flung its arms out, and all of a sudden it had wings, and it picks up the robot and flies. Like that's sick.
True.
And I know I've abused that word. Yeah. Like
yeah, they really, I don't know. They did. He had a good way, or I don't know, just the whole whoever coming up with everything, keeping it fresh. Like every fight was kind of fresh. There always was. Really cool moments between all the robots and just whether it was a weapon reveal or a way that they were killed or something like that, it was always I don't know, like, and people were just kind of dropping like flies too. Like no one was really safe. Like it felt like, well, they could die at any given moment because like the one kaiju that had like the tail grabber, the kind of like tail arm that just fucking grabbed one head and then just squeezed it and just blew them up, and they were just gone. Like it was just like, oh shit,
those people are dead now.
Okay, and it was cool how they were evolving to beat the robots. Like it was like clear that each monster was a little bit better at doing something. Like that tail arm like felt like it was like, okay, well, we got grabbed and whatever, it'd be nice if we had another arm to fight with, whatever. And then the EMP is like, oh well, they're electronic, let's shut them down. So it did feel like there was this like intelligence to him. And then you get that whole Newton side of the story, and he's like, oh yeah, no, they're it's like they just devour worlds. They just, and this is it kind of crazy.
They conquer, they conquer worlds. And I appreciated that you get a little bit of a climate change thing in there too. They came here they tried thousands of years ago, and that's why we had dinosaurs and shit like that. But like that's the air was too clean, it was too good, it was too nice, and then we came along and we destroyed everything. We polluted the air, we poisoned the water, and it's perfect for them now. So now they now they're coming back. And I love whenever he tells Hannibal Chow that he drifted with the kaiju, and he goes, "You fucking idiot! You fucking moron!" Yeah.
And then, but he did it once too. He did it once himself. The good old red eyes. It's the marker. You'll be, and that's why he wears those glasses. Probably, I don't know, forever. His whole outfit is awesome. I don't know everything about
like
him,
just iconoclastic design is. I just love how over the top it is. But yeah, man. There's just I just think it's fun. There's not much that I feel like they. I love the ending. I love the feel good ending where she's like, no, don't go, and he's like. You're squeezing me too hard, I can't breathe, all that stuff. Like, it's sweet. I really appreciate that sort of thing, and it's just a good ending to a fun movie, man.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I can get it on the big screen in some way. I don't know. That would be really, really cool to see in its
maybe 2028 we get a little 15-year anniversary or something like that.
Yeah, gonna need it. I don't know. Yeah, it's because this, I don't know, was cool. This world is really cool. Coolest, like. I don't know. I guess all the other monster and kaiju movies are just kind of big monster come from somewhere. We must fight them. But this one, it felt like it just had, I don't know. The tech was really cool. The drift is really cool, and then
Yeah,
the
conceptually, it's just really, really interestingly thought out.
yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, as far as the kaiju movies go, I kind of expected that it wouldn't even hold a candle to kind of the Godzilla or Kong movies or anything like that. But no, it slots. It doesn't really slot right in. It kind of whole like I don't know. It's a whole
kind of
different
easily above
sect.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
It's
mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun, and it again, just super good to look at. Love me some Guillermo del Toro, incredible director, and the fact that he can do something like this, and he can also do something like Pinocchio, and just the range he is capable. Blade 2 and Shape of Water and Kronos and Pan's Labyrinth, all sorts of shit, just all over the place. Incredible director, incredible creative. And I cannot wait for his Frankenstein movie later this year. Holy shit. I am so ready for that.
That'll
But
be nice. Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. And we'll probably cover that here, I'm assuming. But yeah, I don't have much else to say on Pacific Rim. I think it's a real simple movie, simple discussion.
Yeah, and it's okay that it's kind of simple. I don't know. It's like it's not bad that it's simple. We need movies kind of like this. Yeah, it's not going for that crazy drama. It's just we're gonna give you some crazy fucking action for what 2? Is it 2 hours? Is it longer than 2 hours? Like it's like right about 2 hours. Yeah, just we're gonna give you some gnarly shit. Anime,
do some spectacle. Love that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. But we'll go ahead and rate this movie. But before we get there, I'll do the plugs. If you would, go ahead and leave a 5-star rate and review. Download wherever you might be listening. We are currently doing the Sci-Fi Project. Next Monday is St. Patty's Day, and we'll be celebrating with a little Cillian Murphy movie in Sunshine, Danny Boyle's Sunshine. Super excited for that. You're familiar with Danny Boyle's work, of course, because of Train Spotting and Slumdog Millionaire. So same director there with Sunshine. But yeah, we got Cillian Murphy on the docket for Monday, and next Friday will be Joe's birthday, and we'll be discussing Tron. Very, very excited. So that's what we've got in the next week here.
Yeah.
But elsewhere, we are doing Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast friendly to the first-time viewer and rewatcher alike. We are currently next week we'll be halfway through season 1. So you ought to check that out. If you've never watched Twin Peaks, now's the time. If you have watched Twin Peaks, go ahead and revisit it with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can take your time with it, sit with every episode week by week, and we'll be in there. It's going to be a great time. But yeah, I think beyond that, we're still about a month and some change away from Andor season 2 for Fulcrum. So this is what we've got going. But yeah, so Sunshine next Monday. Friday we've got Tron, and then the week after that we've got Looper. Ryan Johnson directed, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis. Can't wait for that, and that'll round out March for us. But let's rate Pacific Rim. How are we feeling?
Hell yeah. I guess we gave AI an 8, and I think I know that I like AI more, I think, than Pacific Rim, but it's close. It's not completely there. I think at least it just knows that I'm in the 7s. That I can't quite give it an 8 and tie it. But I can give it a 7.5 or a 7.75 is I think where my gut takes me. And I think I want to give it as close to that 8 as possible. Is kind of what I want to do. A 7.5 feels I don't know. But it's more AI is more if I want to turn on my brain and actually care about all of the all of these moral quandaries and all the sorts of things. But if I just want something to just I want to just relax and watch some badass robots killing some aliens and humans coming out on top at the end. This is what I'm going with. So, but I think AI gives me a little bit more. There is still overall. I do prefer a movie, I think, that does dive into that, but that's just me. Not to. I don't know. There are people that do prefer this movie much more.
100%, and that's where I do prefer a movie that makes me feel and think more like AI.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't prefer that movie to this movie.
Okay.
Like generally the type of movie, yes. But I think Pacific Rim has such a singular motivation. It feels much more cohesive to me. AI is obviously going for something much bigger, and like we would never compare them ever unless we did exactly what we did here. We covered one week and we covered one the next, So, I think that I'm not going to take it super far above it, but I am going to go 8.25 for Pacific Rim. That's where I sit. I'm going to give it just barely the edge. If you're going to give it AI, just barely the edge also.
Then there we go. And then it would tie it out with AI then. If we keep the numbers there, just 2 flat 8s 2 weeks in a row. And I think, I don't know, we're in that range. At least it was in the range. I think I just
no, for sure.
If it is 2 different modes. That is for sure. It isn't.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and like I said, they would never be compared unless we did exactly what we did. You know what I'm saying? So I think that landing on the fact that they are just some good fucking movies feels like a good place to land. But yeah, with an 8 out of 10,
there we go.
That is where Pacific Rim lands on the Cinementalimeter.
Yes,
love the Cinementalimeter. Yeah. But we will conclude there, and we'll be back next week, baby. So with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, today we are canceling the apocalypse.